Hey, Jazmine, why can't you play basketball with pigs?
Because I don't know.
They're ball hogs. Hi, I'm Nigel Kent,
And I'm Jazmine Starr.
and welcome to Trouble in Paradise, the podcast where we talk and laugh and sometimes cry about all the things amazing, awkward,
Auspicious.
and auspicious about Southwest Florida. And we're going to have a really wonderful time. I'm going to have to straighten out my hat for this one because we have three fantastic things to talk about. One of them is a dancing diva that we met a few weeks ago in the heart of the Viagra Triangle. And what's the name of that place again?
The Blue Martini.
Yeah. For those that are not familiar with the Viagra Triangle, go back and listen to the episode before last on Stitcher or on Apple Podcasts. Or you can find us on YouTube, of course, but just subscribe to Trouble in Paradise. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Tipcast2. And if you really love Jazmine and I, you can find us on Instagram at Our Kissing Problem. OUR Kissing Problem. But this dancing diva that we met at the Viagra Triangle, she quickly became a star and rose to internet fame after our video of her dancing around and showing off a little of her underwear.
Little panty action.
Yeah, so we went back to the Viagra Triangle, and guess who was there dancing on her platform? The dancing diva, except this time we got to know her a little bit better, and we made friends with her, so we're going to share about that. And then we have a new segment called Jazmine Reacts, which is going to feature something that Jazmine is reacting to that she has never before tried. And in this case, that bottle that's down there in front of Jazmine is filled with a substance a substance that Jazmine just recently tried today. So we're going to get her reaction on that and tell you what's going on there. And then, of course, only in Florida, we've got one, maybe two stories to share with you about these dingbats in Florida doing their Florida thing. And this one involves toe sucking. So you're going to want to stick around for that. But in the meantime, I need to know, how do trees get on the internet, Jazmine?
I don't know, Nigel.
Just like everyone else, they log in.
Those are so bad.
Okay, so moving on. Now that everybody is in a great mood from that wonderful dad joke, let's talk about our friend. So tell us the story. Set this up for us, right? We were going there, and what happened?
Well, we were sitting at the bar and happened to notice from behind this lovely lady with this vivacious smile.
Yeah, she's got a big, big smile.
She has a lot of personality to go with that smile. And
I didn't talk to her, so I wouldn't know.
I think we have pictures and video.
Yes, which we're going to share.
But no, it took us not too long to realize that was our friend from a couple weeks ago when we were there up and dancing on our little platform. So I thought that I would jump up and also join her and get to know her a little bit better.
And is this the lady that we're talking about?
That's my girl.
And what is your girl's name?
You know, I'm awful. I just I didn't ask for her name. I just mentioned that she was featured on our podcast.
So you told her that we took a raunchy upskirt video of her dancing.
I did not share with her. I said I gave her the info for the podcast so she could go and see what we actually talked about. But she was so excited about it, and so we'll see if she...
I think she's the kind of person that's probably excited about most stuff.
I do too. She didn't have her platform shoes on last night. She was a bit more conservative than she was on night one when I met her. But we had a good time. From as you can tell from the picture, nonetheless, we got up close and personal.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say that your breasts are resting on her side boob.
Yeah.
You're also
I've got a little bit more lift than she does.
true. You're also making a little bit of a duck face too. Was that intentional, or was it just did it just come out in the moment?
It was in the moment. I did, honestly, you know, it's good. That's kind of, I think it's a sexy picture. So
So
Whatever.
this is the video here. This is when you were trying to film her.
there we go. I said it's her.
Well, she's getting down.
I also like the fact that even though she's dressed more conservative tonight than the previous, she had on that like red and green flashing ring. You can see it flashing when she's dancing.
And then there's that Nimrod that kept photobombing you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that ring. It's like a laser or something. Okay, so this is Whitney Houston, right? The Whitney
Yeah.
Houston cover that everybody loves if they're a girl. And I mean, so many men
Let's
just
not
sing that song.
Let's not categorize every woman in this
All right.
category.
Not every
Like,
woman.
I wouldn't categorize it like a woman that likes Sublime or something like that.
Oh, you mean a basic white girl?
Yes, exactly.
It's true, though. And so let's just have a real quick segue because a little while ago, I told you that liking Sublime was a very basic white girl thing to do. Like, and the funny thing is that white women, I think, actually think that they're being like diverse or cool or multicultural when they like Sublime. And this just isn't the case. It's just a fact that all white women like Sublime. So it's a very basic
It's not
thing.
a fact that all women,
Not all white women, just all white women our age.
that are basic happen.
that are basic. Yeah, it's a very
Yes.
basic thing.
So
Liking
you.
Sublime is a very basic thing to like. Yes.
Thank you, Nigel, for putting me in the category of being basic.
No, it's just it's just something that you do that's basic, Jazmine. You're not actually basic. It's just something that you have in common with basic white women. Is enjoying Sublime. All right, so back to the subject at hand. So, so you danced with her, and then so what did you tell her? You told her about the podcast. And
I did want to get permission to use her image on the podcast, and in doing so, we took a couple selfies together. Yeah, that's not.
Just Nigel. Okay, so here's the video I took of you guys dancing together.
Yes.
And it goes a little something like this.
Well, the best part about this video, and this is what I have to share, is the first time I met her.
Look at her go.
Yeah, this was the song that she was dancing to when she encroached on my space.
That's true. It was September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah. So it was a very nostalgic moment for me.
And what did you say about that song? You said that pretty much you're going to hear it 3 nights a week at this venue.
I said every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
you will hear this song by every single band that performs.
So if you're correct then, at least if this is any indication. The cameraman's acting pretty stupid.
Well, and the cameraman didn't realize then that his coworker was getting her butt smacked at that moment.
My coworker?
Yes. Or
That's probably right about there when it happened, right?
no.
All right, so what you're saying is that you got your butt smacked by
I got spanked.
by the girl?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so in that video, you'll see like at that one point we're facing one another, and I think it was the like leading up to the September part.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing like a little hip shake, and this dickwad like started spanking me.
So somebody that was standing near you or seated near you started spanking your butt while you were dancing with the dancing diva girl from a couple weeks ago.
Yes, like this is like appropriate behavior, I guess. You know,
Oh, you think?
This is what when you go into the Viagra Triangle, it's okay for people to behave this way.
You think so, huh?
No, I don't think so.
Why can't I find a picture of the douchebag in question? So tell me, what was your reaction when you felt this hand on your ass?
Well, I like. Oh,
Here we go. All right. So tell me, what was your reaction when you felt this guy's hand on your ass?
well, my first reaction was WTF, and I looked behind me to see who in the hell it was, and then my second response was to finish the interaction that I had with the lady that,
So you ignored it basically for the moment.
for the moment.
So you could enjoy yourself and get back to having a good time, right?
No,
Okay.
no, I had to finish the interaction that I had with the.
So you didn't want to be rude to her in order to turn around and kick him in the head.
Well,
Or did you kind of like it? Did it feel good?
No, it didn't feel good.
Okay. Just a
Would
little
I
too
have-
hard, a little too heavy-handed.
Would I have told you if it were welcomed or wanted behavior?
I don't think that's a strange question to ask, to put it that way. But no, I assumed that you would be frightened of my response in that case. So,
No, I was offended by it, and
So-
hence the reason why I.
so we're gonna blast
Told
this
you.
dude, right? This guy,
Yeah.
that's physical assault, and for anybody that's worried about privacy here, I don't want to hear your shit, because this is the asshole that decided he was going to spank you 4 times while you were dancing.
It was either 4 or 5, but it was unwanted, unjustified, and
How do you get that good looking? I mean, look at this guy. This guy is quite a specimen, right? And he looks like he's bitching about something. Look at
Yeah.
his mouth.
yeah, probably the fact
And he's
that
scowling.
yeah.
Oh, dude, I spanked this girl and like, the fuck, man, she didn't like it.
Well, and he's also
And
got
he's
the
like
top.
got a-
he's a 2-button undone kind of guy too,
Got
right?
like a bruised ego, cause
That guy's definitely from the Northeast, right?
He's got. I'm not gonna say it because you always say that I alienate another.
Well, that's why I was careful not to name any particular state.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of one.
Because people from Pennsylvania don't think they're from the Northeast, right?
I wasn't thinking Pennsylvania.
You were thinking New York.
No.
You were thinking New Jersey.
No.
You were thinking
Tom Brady.
Oh, Massachusetts? Well, I mean, it's possible this guy's from Massachusetts.
Or no, I don't know. That looks like a Jersey face, doesn't it?
It looks like a Jersey face or a New York face, right? He's pissed. All
Yeah.
New Yorkers go around being pissed at each other and being mean to each other. New York City people, they're just fucking mean to each other.
I don't know. I've never been.
Yeah, well, you could talk to Ronan about it. He has some great New York stories to tell. But so anybody, I just want to put this dude on blast. If you have seen this guy and you would like to hip him to the fact that he has now been outed as a creepy toucher feeler, I told him how I felt about it.
I appreciated that too. Thank
You're
you.
very welcome. Of course, you're quite welcome. We have to, in order to continue our professional relationship, I feel as though we have to look out for each other
I know.
and defend each other from dickwads from wherever he's from.
I mean, screw our kissing problem.
Yes.
This is a
serious.
professional.
Absolutely.
He crossed the professional.
He did. Yeah. I mean, look, you don't go around touching. At no point is it okay to touch a stranger's rear end. It's just not. Unless you're a massage therapist and you're getting paid to.
But you're getting permission before you do it.
That's true. It's consensual at that point.
Right.
So this guy's a douchebag, the moral of the story. And we got a great follow-up with our lovely dancing diva buddy.
I know. Let's switch to a happier.
She was wonderful.
She was.
And
she was
her smile goes all the way from ear to ear.
I know. She was so excited to find out that she was on the podcast and that she was going to be like a follow-up on the podcast. So if she is watching, shout out, girl.
Whatever your name is.
I know. We'll have to go back and actually find out what your name is.
We can't even at her. Like, we don't know what her name is. We don't know what her Twitter is or anything.
I know. I told her how to look for us, but I totally dropped the ball. I wanted to make sure it was okay to use her image. Well,
that's okay. You got a permission from an anonymous person.
Right. But this dickwad we don't really care about if we use his image because he's a pervert that likes to touch women inappropriately. Yeah. So he deserves to be blasted.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
That bottle that is right on the table in front of you, is there some sediment at the bottom of it?
There is.
Here, let's put it on JazzCam. What does that sediment resemble to you?
This would be. What does it resemble?
Yeah, what does it look like?
Looks like dirt.
Looks like dirt. Well, we're going to come back to that in a minute, and because you actually put that into your body today.
I did.
And but before we do that, I think we should talk about one of these wacky Florida men. What do you think?
Bring it on.
We don't have any Florida women today.
No. One of them is very close to home.
Oops, I played the title music again. Sorry about that. One of them is all the way from Lee County, which for those of you outside of Southwest Florida is just north of where we record the podcast. And it's home to Fort Myers and Cape Coral and a couple of other wonderful places that we love to make fun of. And so, Jazmine, which story should we start with?
The healthcare worker.
The healthcare worker who seems to have a problem with sucking a certain part of the body.
This is so gross.
So this guy, it says, and this is from Rare, and this is actually, speaking of Rare, this is one of those rare stories that I actually really enjoyed the way it was written, instead of just complaining about it and all the bad grammar and stuff.
One thing I want to say, though, before we actually dip into the story, is on our kissing problem.
Our kissing problem on Instagram.
We noticed if you have a hashtag that has anything to do with feet, this is a thing. Obviously, it's not just this guy that's interested in this kind of stuff. This is really, truly a thing that
So what you're saying is if we post a picture without the hashtag of feet, and then we post a picture with the hashtag of feet, all these weirdos come out of the woodwork.
Yes, you had the proposition, direct message. I mean, so this...
A proposition of what? What did the guy want?
He wanted to send money in return for feet pictures.
So he wanted to send cash in return for pictures of your feet? And you're not doing this because why?
Because...
better things to do.
I'm not.
You feel real sensitive about having your pictures of your feet out there in public circulation.
I just feel like there's a part of... There's a part of that... Sorry, Peter.
So the cat is trying to molest you while you're recording.
Yes.
Yes. So there's a certain part of feet pictures that.
I don't play into fetishes like that.
Okay.
Sorry.
But if you want to grow your following on Instagram, people, that's how you do it.
Hashtag feet.
And
hashtag toes.
Hashtag feet worship.
Feet
Yes,
worship.
yes.
So this man, yeah.
And we aren't feet fetish people. Sorry to disappoint all you feet fetish listeners out there, but that's not necessarily our thing. However, I don't have any problem with it. I do think it's a little weird, though, that a fully grown man would, with a picture of himself as his profile picture, would voluntarily go and send you a direct message offering you money in return. He called it an allowance, I believe. I'll give you an allowance if you send me more feet pictures. We're gonna actually have to read that one on a future episode because that was some hilarious messaging. And I didn't reply to it by sending him something from the dog. I sent him something from the dog from Hash Brown.
Yes.
And then he disappeared forever.
Yeah, we never heard from him again.
Yeah, he was like, screw this. So we have the story about this guy who looks like a pretty good, hospital worker. I mean, he looks, I guess, young. He looks older than he is, though, according to the story. It says a Florida man working at a hospital in Lee County, Florida, in case you needed any further clarification, was arrested after a female patient accused him of non-consensually sucking on her toes. For those of you in Broward County, non-consensually means she didn't want to do it. 23-year-old France Beldorin of Lehigh Acres, Florida, was arrested by deputies from the Lee County Sheriff's Office when a female patient reported him to hospital security for the toe-sucking incident. According to the victim, she awoke in the middle of the night to a wet sensation on her toes, and then looked down from her bed and saw Beldorin on the floor, hiding.
I literally have goosebumps right now. Keep going, yeah.
Is that because you like the idea?
No, this is so creepy.
Beldorin, who has worked at the hospital for the last 4 years, told police that he had actually dropped his phone on the floor and was down there trying to get it. He believes the woman awoke and became afraid when she saw someone in her room in the dark. And that someone happened to look like this guy right here. So he doesn't look terribly frightening, but maybe to her she was. He also said he had no idea what she was talking about regarding the toe sucking. He then informed police that he would not bother to suck on the woman's toes because he can get that sort of action elsewhere if he feels like it.
Ugh.
Why would you say that to the police? Why would you? Misconnections. You were in the hospital room, in the surgery ward, and you awoke to me sucking your toes and called the police.
Tell me what I dropped so I
know it's you.
That it's, yes, exactly.
Tell me what I dropped on the floor under your bed so that I know it's you.
Oh, gosh.
Sincerely, lost in Lee County. Okay, Beldorin was charged with battery on a person 65 years of age or older. Battery, okay, and was released from jail. That's more like, wouldn't that be more like sexual misconduct?
No, it's battery. It's
it battery?
Unwanted touching is considered.
Is battery.
Yes.
Okay.
It is battery.
Oh,
That's
wow.
correct.
So that guy at the Viagra Triangle then committed a felony against you.
That was battery.
Okay, well, it's a good thing we have his mugshot. And we're going to pursue this. I hope we see him again because
I hope we don't.
Well, I hope I do. That way I can I can say, look, here's the episode of the podcast where we outed you as being a desperate middle-aged groper.
Mm-hmm. And really, you were a batterer.
Really? Yeah, battery. So we now know, thanks to, what's this guy's name? It's Mr. Beldorin. Because he sucked this old lady's toes, we now understand from our friends at Rare that is, in fact, battery. $1,500 bond until his court date. He is being forced to wear a monitoring device. A couple things. Okay, now this is where the opinion starts, right? His excuse alone tells me he probably did it because it's terrible. Personally, I would have gone with, she's an old lady, bro. You really think I'd do that? Look at how old she is. That's a good point, right? And
Hopefully his lawyer is cooking up that defense right now.
it
It still probably won't work, but it's better.
Well, that's very funny because he did say I can get that action anywhere. I don't need to do it at work.
don't
Like
need to
who's
do it at
looking
work.
for elderly toe action? What 23-year-old is looking for elderly toe action? Monitoring device for toe sucking. Lee County might be the toughest county in America on flight risk criminals. If you get a Dewey, do they give you house arrest? I don't think Beldoran was going to be perusing flights to non-extradition treaty countries, is what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a good point. So there you have it. I mean, what would you have done with this guy? And how do you did the old lady have dementia? Maybe he didn't do it. Are there cameras? There can't be cameras in patients' rooms.
No, there's not cameras in a patient's room.
So it's his word against hers.
That would be against HIPAA.
I'm sure, yeah.
But
It's very disheartening to think that. It makes you wonder too. What was his role with the hospital? If it just says he's a hospital worker,
right?
Is he a nurse? Is he a doctor? Now he wouldn't be 23-year-old. Be too young to be a doctor, right? Do you think it's possible he was an orderly or a janitorial?
They're not orderlies.
What do they call them?
Like patient care technicians.
They don't call them disorderlies?
No.
Patient care technicians. They're technicians.
They're technicians.
Why
now.
does that make me feel
PCTs.
terrible for every other technician in every other vocation? Orderlies are called technicians now, right? Don't they bring food and clean beds and stuff? Do they call hotel cleaning people technicians, or do they call them cleaning people?
There's actually do you really want to get into this right now?
I don't know. Yeah, am I alienating another group of people away from our audience?
Well, there is quite a bit of responsibility aside from just, that's a misperception and kind of a degrading statement to PCTs.
Okay, so what you're saying is that I should respect what they do because I can't do it.
You could do it.
Okay.
You would not want to.
I understand.
Right. But it goes beyond just things that you said. They're responsible for taking vital signs, reporting abnormal things to nursing staff and stuff like that. There are,
So he could have been this is like a nursing assistant kind of position?
Well, that would be what I'm referring to.
Oh, I thought it was about like janitorial things and stuff like that, like changing the sheets.
No, when
and
you
whatnot.
say like an orderly, you're referring to somebody that's like a CNA.
They're clinicians.
Old term CNA, but now they're called patient care technicians.
Okay. So really, a CNA and an orderly are the same thing. I always thought an orderly was somebody that was the one that took the sheets off the bed after the patient left.
No, that's housekeeping.
Oh, well then they do call it the same thing as in a hotel, except but that's not what an orderly was.
Or actually, if we want to be politically correct, they're environmental services.
Oh, environmental services.
Yes, because they have to know how to handle. Look at all the fear that's going around right now with certain viruses and everything like that.
Certain viruses? You mean we can't name it?
The coronavirus.
Can you say it with a strong Hispanic style accent, please?
The coronavirus.
D coronavirus.
D coronavirus.
We were just having a discussion about how white you are at dinner, and you just said D coronavirus.
C.
D like C?
C?
The? No.
L.
L.
It would be la
Corona?
corona. La corona.
La corona. Okay.
Anyway, moving on from that, but
Moving on. So all right.
no, like environmental services and everything, they need to know how to like
Are they weird kids? I mean, if you work in environmental service, do you have a reputation as being a weird kid?
No,
So
no.
maybe this guy's not in environmental services. Maybe he is a PCT, as you say. Do the
Maybe he
PC?
was a transporter.
What's that? Oh, is that somebody that
Would
rolls the roly-poly beds around with people in them?
Yeah, if they have testing and stuff like that, they go and pick them up, and then,
Oh.
so I mean, there's all kinds of jobs that somebody
So
could have. So there's no way to know. He could
was he
work with
pissed when her anesthetic
dietary
wore off?
services. Maybe he dropped her like some silverware or something under the bed. Like
Oh,
maybe he was with dietary, but this happened in the middle of the night.
well, it does say
So
that he dropped his phone. That he says he dropped his
right,
phone under the bed.
yeah.
So, anyway, time will tell what happens to a Florida man in a hospital in Lee County.
With the $1,500 bond and ankle bracelet.
France Beldorin of Lehigh Acres. France, sorry about your luck. I hope you didn't do it, because that says a lot about you if you did. Uh, but, so, do you think maybe he was, under the influence of some kind of substance, perhaps?
No, I
It's not possible that he was under the influence at all.
I
He
mean,
was sucking an old woman's toes at a hospital.
anything is possible, but I go with the thing that, there are some people that like some very weird, kinky stuff.
Oh,
And
like the taste of dirt. Does anybody like the taste of dirt?
I found out today that I actually what kind of resembled what I would imagine it to be.
And that you like that flavor, or that
I actually kind of did.
it's not as bad as you thought it would be?
Well, I had no idea what to expect. I did a little online research just for my own personal to make sure it was something that, I was okay with.
Ah. And so, for those of you who have no clue what Jazmine Starr is talking about, welcome to our new segment, which is called Jazmine Reacts. And during this segment, we find out, after Jazmine tries something new, what her reaction is to it and how she enjoyed it or hated it or whatever. And so, you want to tell us what you're reacting to today?
You had mentioned Kava and that you wanted me to try Kava.
Well, I knew
Like,
it was something that you'd never tried before.
No, I never tried it. I didn't.
I like to call that low-hanging fruit. Ooh, let's do a Jazmine Reacts. It's easy. And it was right at our fingertips, too.
Yeah. But no, I didn't know what Kava was. I've not. Why not? I'll try it out.
Okay, so what is Kava? Let's hear your replay of what the Kava bartender told us. Her name was Brooke, and we'll splice in some video of Brooke for those of you watching on YouTube to get her version of the spiel. But what do you remember from it?
Kava comes from the pepper family. So kava is going to be more relaxing. It comes from the root. It's grounded into powder mixed with water. I think it's good for like anti-anxiety, anti-stress relief. Really just like puts you in the moment. I like to say it doesn't really make you think about anything. It just relaxes you. So it tastes better with like coconut creamer, chocolate, stuff like that.
Brooke was lovely, and I think she would have talked me into like probably tasting any kind of thing. But what was it that you wanted me to try first? So I guess there's like a bare bones version of whatever you had me.
Yeah, it's the Kava root extract by itself, which is
Right.
yeah.
So you wanted me to
Pure.
try. Yeah, you wanted me to try so I knew what the root actually tasted like.
Yeah, the pure Kava, yeah. Because
Yeah.
it's that's the actual flavor.
And at the time, like I couldn't like really think of how to like phrase it other than like I think I maybe mentioned something like it would be if I picked up something like rotten from my children and like kind of drank it, like picked it up. But I finally figured out that if I went on Naked and Afraid, and you see how they're like siphoning like water, you know, like they build some contraption and they siphon like the water down so they can like drink it, and that it probably tastes like that. I can't imagine it would taste just like water.
So you're saying that Kava tastes like dirty water,
Like that I would see on Naked and Afraid XL.
like water from a bad water supply, like a third world country's water.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, like it's survival. It's like a survivalist drink.
So, okay. So Kava is a survivalist drink.
No, the root part, the whatever the thing was that you made me shell. Is that what?
Yeah, it was called a shell. I forget what they call
I
it,
don't
but it's
know.
called Koopa or Buka or Dupa or Fupa or something like.
No, it's not fupa. Do you? Oh my God, Nigel, do you know what a fupa is?
That is a
Fat upper.
upper prandular area, fat upper prandular area.
Pussy area.
What? What'd you say?
Fat upper pussy area.
What did you say again?
Fat upper pussy area.
I thought
That's
that,
a fupa.
I thought that was a banished word. Doesn't? Oh, that's that word that Gabby hates.
Right.
She hates the P word.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with pussy. I'm elbows deep in it, like.
I am so. I got some great sound bites from you now that we can use to make our intro. It's funny. Very good. So,
Elbow deep.
despite the fact that Kava
great.
tastes like a third world country's water supply,
Yeah.
you found out that basically a third world water supply doesn't taste that bad.
Well, you were like, whoa, slow down. Make sure like your tongue doesn't go numb. It never did.
Yeah, it does make it can make your tongue go numb. Your tongue go numb. Apparently my tongue has gone numb.
You know, it's like, I guess I maybe had it in my mind, like it wasn't like, I couldn't let that happen. So maybe like I didn't allow my body to respond that way because I didn't want to. Isn't there a scene with like in Dumb and Dumber with the numb tongue?
There may be. Is that Dumb and Dumber or is that Me, Myself, and Irene? It's one of those Jim Carrey movies.
Right, but there is numb tongue, and
But you willed yourself to survive without getting a numb tongue, because you just. Why didn't you want to get the numb tongue? Were you afraid you weren't going to be able to talk?
I was afraid that you would make fun of me.
Oh, well, it's not like that kind of numb. It's more like a, when you have like a topical numbness, like from a mentholyptus or some kind of like, oral anesthetic. It makes things. Anbesol. Yeah, it's not that. It's not like your face is drooping and you can't think straight because of it. It's not that kind of numb.
But I didn't know what to expect because it's like you have this whole list of like, okay, so for anybody who has never seen it, like there's like this like side by side like list of like you may feel this and this and this and it, like,
but that was a comparison between Kava and kratom.
Right.
And to be clear, we didn't do any kratom. We just drank some Kava.
No. Right. We just had Kava, but still, it was like, and there's a lot to it. And I mean, it was like Brooke was awesome. Shout out to Brooke.
And shout out to Kava Culture in Bonita Springs, too.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
If you'd like to try some really awesome Kava drinks, go to Kava Culture.
Yeah, she had some great recommendations, especially since I had never tried it before.
And so what was your second, you finished your shell and then you had another drink. What was that?
She recommended the orange creamsicle because I have a sweet tooth, so I went with that.
What is it? So orange creamsicle is like a flavor, so it's like a cocktail that they mix up.
Well, it's like over ice, and I don't know. It looks like this, but this is getting more and more sediment as we speak.
So speaking of dirt,
Yes.
But how would you rate the orange creamsicle, and what were your general thoughts, real briefly?
It was good. It was so much better than the
The straight kava.
yeah, which I'm glad I did try it now, so I knew like, you know what?
What dirt tastes like.
Yeah.
What third world water tastes like.
No, I know I can totally go on Naked and Afraid now. Like I'm ready to audition.
I'd be down with the naked part. I don't know about the afraid part, though.
Well, I am down. I actually looked up. I never told you that. Maybe a year ago, not even a year ago.
You auditioned for Naked and Afraid?
I looked at the criteria in submitting an application.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, imagine the star
'Cause-
that you would be. You would be half the star you are now if you had made it on that show, because you wouldn't have been able to do the podcast.
Well, do you know why I wanted to do it? Part of it, and this is so sad.
Because you're like a strange kind of like closet nudist that doesn't like to talk about it, but gets weird about feet fetishes.
No, I see how much weight they lose on this show,
Oh.
and I was like, well, if you don't get a disease, then you can survive.
And you might even lose more weight if you get the disease, because then you get like a parasite or something.
No, then you're out of the show, you know.
And
And
they
then
have to take you away to get
I was
medical.
like, and then they're so joyous and everything. Like whenever they reach the end and they get that like one meal, like at the end, it's like they can choose. Like they know, like the producers know, like ahead of time, like what their favorite food is gonna be. Because you know me, I love food. So, yeah, I was like, that's like the icing on the cake to be able to like, you know, be naked and run around and then
just to
drink,
be able to be naked and run around.
run around and find shelter or build
and be
shelter.
filmed being naked.
It's all blurred.
Well, of course it's blurred, but then you got this weird, like that's the thing about these like desert island.
Have you ever
Hidden-
watched that show though? It's
Yeah, I've seen it a little bit.
fascinating.
Yeah. Well, it is, but all of these shows where somebody's out in the wilderness, far from technology or any modern conveniences, except they're not really, because all these assholes with $10,000 cameras are following them around constantly and holding a boom mic over their head in the middle of nowhere.
But they're not helping them.
But where do those guys stay? They stay in a hotel or something, right?
They don't stay in a hotel, but I'm sure they have
They have
like
a nice RV parked 200 yards away in the parking lot.
right. But I mean, those people they get bit by snakes and shit.
The camera people do?
No, the people on the show, and
Why
I mean,
don't the camera people get bit by snakes and stuff?
I don't. Oh, it just made me. I use it after we had our kava. Then on the way back, yeah,
You almost had a little encounter with the snake today.
I
didn't
did.
you?
I saw one.
Would you like to share about it?
It was terrifying.
And what was the sound that you made?
That would have been a very good Jazmine Reacts. And
Jazmine reacts to a black racer.
well, you know, I know you've said that you don't want to put me in any situations, but I will put it out there for the sake of our viewing audience, for anybody that's watching. I am a total pansy when it comes to like creepy crawly things, snakes. I'm terrified of tree frogs.
Also, anybody that's listening.
Right, exactly. Feel free to contact Nigel because, you know, the premise of this Reacts thing is that I don't know what's coming. So,
But you kind of did know. I guess this was a soft start, right? Because you knew that we were going to go to Kava culture and
I
try
did.
Kava.
I did. And you prepped me maybe a little bit, but
So it
I really
wasn't-
had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Okay. All
And
right.
it's, you know, it's great. It wasn't bad, you know.
I think it's good. I enjoy it a lot. Like I said, the only
Yeah.
thing that I'm just going to, now Nigel reacts a little bit too, but I mean, the only thing about it that is a little bit aggravating is that it tends to keep me up. So if I drink it, it tends to keep me from sleeping very well. So we'll see how that goes tonight with the sleep. But so anyway, the orange creamsicle,
Okay, yes.
which you really, really enjoyed. And then
You ordered something.
I did. I ordered a coconut cream shell So it was a Kava shot with coconut cream.
Right. Because since you...
It's like dirt with coconut cream on it.
Which tasted a lot better than...
Than the straight dirt.
Right. But I know I can survive now. So I feel empowered.
You feel empowered now that you've actually drank something that tastes just like dirt.
Drank some dank.
Drank some dank. Is that like slobbing the nobbin? I mean, dranking some dank, is that the same thing as slobbing the nobbin?
Slobbing the nobbin.
You're about to drink some dank right now.
I am. Yeah, it's just sitting here, so.
All right, so here you go, everybody. Jazmine is going to drink some Kava now, and this was drink number 3 flavor, which was what? What recipe did they use?
Was it like peanut butter cup or?
They said it was peanut butter cup, yeah.
It used to be peanut butter and jelly, but or something, and now they call it peanut butter cup.
Well, it was peanut butter powder mixed with Hershey syrup.
Yeah, and I like it was very nice. Like, really, if you guys haven't been to Kava Culture in Bonita, it was really awesome.
Yeah. I didn't think it tasted like a peanut butter cup. It tasted like peanut butter and chocolate syrup.
Yeah, and I am not a peanut butter person, but I really like this one. So
they also have something called Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which Brooke warned us that you better really love cinnamon, I think she said.
Yeah.
And we didn't try that one.
I was looking at that one because I like my Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I eat that one at home.
You know, this has been a largely positive episode. Like, there hasn't been anything quite... Well, the toe-sucking thing was a little bit disturbing. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about things that are basically good. The jewel of Bonita Springs, Kava culture.
Yeah.
And
what's wrong with that?
Nothing. And our beautiful friend, I guess the ass grabber was or the ass smacker was a little bit negative.
we slammed the dickwad, so.
We slammed the dickwad. Please, everybody, go. If you know this guy, just...
let us know who he is.
Yeah, let us know who he is so we can reach out and just blast him in person because I'd love to have some more interaction with him. And maybe that way, we can steer him away from becoming the next Florida man because who wants to be that, right? Why is it that this Florida man thing has become such a phenomenon?
I don't know.
Why has everything happened in Florida? I mean, do you think this kind of crazy shit happens in Ohio or Pennsylvania?
No, because if you listen to other podcasts, I mean, everything comes back to
Florida man.
In Florida.
Yeah.
News in Florida.
Does that mean that we're becoming weirder because we're living here, or do just weird people come here?
Florida's like the melting pot, really. Like, I really consider it a melting pot for the U.S. I mean, you have snowbirds, so people are coming from all different states. People come from vacation. They're here from other countries. But oddly, though, and this is what I can't explain, these Florida man stories, these are like residents. These aren't typically visitors.
Yeah, these aren't visitors. These are people who live here.
I know.
So maybe it does drive you nuts. Or maybe you have to be a little bit nuts to live here.
It does get hot as balls in the summer. So you have to be a little...
It gets hotter than balls. Balls are 98.6 degrees.
In the summertime?
I mean, your body temp is the same no matter what. Unless you're ill. Wait a minute. I thought you knew a thing or two about vital signs and diagnoses.
I do, but if I run my hand up some balls, I like... they're like... They are warmer than if I feel somebody.
All right, so you're saying that if you take
your balls have to be warmer than your chest.
Why? Why can't your whole body just be the same temperature?
Well, a rectal temperature is different than an axillary temperature.
What does axillary mean?
Under your arm.
Okay,
and both are measuring, right.
Okay, but...
an oral temperature is going to be different than a rectal temperature.
All right, let me ask you this.
So obviously that area is hotter.
Compare, and so I started And so I took my rectal temperature, and then I took my oral temperature. You're telling me that there would be a big difference?
Yes, it
How
would
much of a
taste
difference would-
significantly different.
I don't understand.
You just
How much of a difference would there be?
You just said that you would take a rectal temperature.
No,
and
listen,
then an
hear me
oral
out. If I took
temperature.
my rectal temperature,
Wait,
and then
let's
took
reverse it, please.
Fine. If I took my oral temperature,
you.
and then I took my rectal temperature, what would the difference be in degrees? Aren't you an expert?
Oral temperature, normal temperature, or average is 98.6. 99.1 is your average rectal temperature.
Is that because I have a hot?
For anybody, that
Oh.
would be. So, if that's the norm, you tell me that balls aren't hotter than the rest of your body.
I don't know. I guess.
And
we'll
they
just,
sweat a lot more than other parts.
well, I mean, do they?
I don't know. I don't have balls.
And when you go
but
to the
just-
gym, do you see a whole bunch of sweat around here on people? Or do you see a whole bunch of sweat? I guess you do see sweat in the crotch too, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes! Speaking of body parts, there's a very interesting Florida man story that we came across, which I really don't know how to set this one up other than to just dive into it. So let's do that. Jars filled with tongues, other human remains dating back to the 1960s, found in Florida home. And this one is by Nelson Oliveira from the New York Daily News, which I'm telling you, this guy is an excellent grammar expert, because he works for the New York Daily News, and that means that he has graduated college with a degree in journalism, right? This is the house.
Oh, that looks like something that would hold something like that.
Police in
Oh,
northern Florida.
wait. What's the little caption say?
Well, the caption of this green and brick photo of a house says at least 6 jars containing formaldehyde and decades-old body parts, including tongues, were found in a crawl space during the inspection in Gainesville, local news station reported on Monday. Police in northern Florida, I guess Gainesville is northern Florida now, huh?
Yeah.
It didn't used to be. Found several jars filled with preserved human remains this week while inspecting the foundation of a home that was once owned by a researcher and professor. At least 6 jars containing formaldehyde and decades-old body parts, including tongues, dating back to the 1960s, were found in a crawl space during the inspection in Gainesville, according to the local news. Each jar reportedly holds about 1 gallon and is labeled with a name and a date. The gruesome discovery may be linked to work... Okay, here's the payoff. Ugh. What aren't they telling you, right? This headline is so misleading. The gruesome discovery may be linked to work performed by Dr. Ronald Bauman, a former research and current professor at University of Florida, the ABC affiliate reported Monday. Bauman has published numerous studies throughout the years and also served as director of the university's maxillofacial surgery advanced training programs, according to medical research website Science Direct. An investigation is underway. Okay, so he's a tongue surgeon. He's a mouth surgeon.
Okay, wait. Back up.
Back it up.
Back it up.
Back it up.
Okay. I was kind of like, okay, yeah, maybe so. Why are they in a crawl space? If it's kosher, you
Yeah.
wouldn't be hiding that shit in a crawl space.
I don't think human tongue is kosher anywhere, any time of the year. It's not kosher for
No, but
Passover.
I mean,
it's
like-
not kosher. It's not.
It's not kosher.
No.
It's not kosher, Nigel.
So the question is, why would a professor who knows another professor who is a current professor at the University of Florida, I believe they said, stashing jars under his house?
You know, this is a great story that you could just run with a novel.
I want to know how they discovered it. What in the world were they doing Under the crawl
Somebody-
space. It doesn't say anything about it says something about an inspection.
Well, you
This
know,
guy getting ready to sell his house, and then the
Maybe-
inspector comes through, and he's like, "There's tongues under your."
wait. What did it say during it? Wait,
It says
stop right there.
during an inspection.
Were found in a crawl space during the inspection.
Yeah, it was.
And-
It doesn't say anything. It alludes to a previously mentioned. It's a foundation inspection, is what it says here, up here.
Of a home that was once owned.
I see. Oh, I see. And that guy
Yeah.
is still working for.
So
God, he forgot that he left his tongues and body parts under the house when he moved. That's a way to screw yourself.
is he still alive?
It says that he works for the University of Florida. Look, it says the gruesome discovery may be linked to work performed by Dr. Ronald Bauman, a former researcher and current professor at University of Florida.
He will not have a job.
Bauman has published numerous studies throughout the years and also served as director of the university's maxillofacial surgery advanced training programs, according to Medical Research Science Direct.
Now that brings a whole new, like, taking your work home with you.
Yeah. And that's not a very nice looking house either. Like,
No, that's
But
creepy.
how did they get this shit ass picture? This is the New York Daily News, and this is the best they can do is this shitty, grainy picture of this dude's house. Anyway, no grammatical errors. That's the good news. The bad news is the guy likes to keep tongues and stuff. The good news is this apparently this, what's his name? Nelson Oliveira actually can write a good story. Or he
I
has a
have
competent
so
editor.
many questions, and I really want to follow up with this one.
Well, we should.
This goes right into my whole, like, criminology, like, love and of like weird stuff.
That you know who loves weird, like, gross criminology type stuff, like CSI kind of stuff and
Gabby.
Dexter kind of stuff.
Gabby?
I think Gabby is pretty much into that. Yeah,
Yeah.
she does have some basic white kind of tendencies, basic white girl kind of tendencies. Oh snap! But it's
I
true
just
though.
want to. Okay.
White girls love serial killers,
I just.
right? No,
That's a bad joke.
No, it's the truth. No, you find me a black girl that loves serial killer stories. I mean, seriously, you can't. That's a white girl thing. It really is.
Well, I just want to say there's a fascinating book that I read by John Douglas that's called Mindhunter.
Mind Hunter?
Yes.
Okay.
And he was a former forensic profilist with the FBI, and it would absolutely blow your mind, like the way that these people think and everything. And he's interviewed like all of these like serial killers, and like Charles Manson, Ed Gein, Jeffrey Dahmer. He talked about the mannerisms when he interviewed Manson, how Manson was trying to stand on a chair in the interview room because he's a short man. And what he would do is, when preach, he would, want to talk down to these people and everything.
Yeah, because he was a cult leader.
Right. So, it's like, so this is like, this fascinates me. Call me basic.
No.
Go ahead. Call me basic.
Okay. We have to figure out what BASIC stands for. It's an acronym, right?
Well,
But let's just say that we should get John Douglas on the program and interview him.
he would.
So start pulling some strings. I know you have some connections. And I don't want to get too much into Jazmine's history, but not only was she a professional basketball player with the WNBA for the Detroit Shock, but she also holds a team record for
Most assists
most assists in a
season.
Yeah. Which is fantastic, which means that you're very helpful.
Yeah, I'm a great ball handler.
But you like to pass the ball. You like to give the ball to others. You're a ball distributor.
Well, I am the commander of the floor. I run the floor.
You run the floor.
I run the floor, so I pass the ball. And,
Is that how you found out that balls have a different temperature than other parts?
well, some balls are smoother than other ones. If they've been used a lot, I find that there's different textures of
So
the balls.
can I ask you, since being a former professional basketball player, what are the women's balls the same size as the men's balls?
No, women's balls are smaller than the men's.
Really?
Yeah,
Is that also true in college, that women play with a different size ball?
absolutely.
Huh.
Yeah.
We have covered a lot of ground, and I really feel enlightened. I hope our listeners and viewers do too.
I hope they do too. There was a lot of information tonight, though.
Yeah, we really covered a lot of ground. But the good thing was we stayed out of trouble.
We did. And could you just, I know we're running out of time, but I can't help it. I am staring at your dad joke book. Will you please, Nigel, please tell us one more amazing dad joke before we sign off?
Many people have decent hand-eye coordination, but pirates have good eye-eye coordination. Good night from Trouble in Paradise. Everybody have a wonderful evening and stay out of trouble. How do you turn this thing off?